And with a funky fresh new set of intro videos comes a funky fresh new week here in the LPL. We're here in week 3, day 1. We're approaching quickly the Chinese New Year. It is Year of the Pig, hence that amazing Sejuani skin. My name is Matt Niberiaclin Daniel, and we are coming in here. You're seeing now the Shanghai home studio, where in just a little bit, SDG versus Vici will be making their first match off here in the spring split. Now, SDG have been having a little bit more successful time, 2-1 so far. Vici not so much. They've shown a lot of promise, but they're 0-2, so today, they're going to be looking to bring that back. They're going to be looking to show us exactly how much they know, how much they've learned. My name is Matt Niberiaclin Daniel. Joining me, Raz, a.k.a. Barento Muhammad, a.k.a. one of the 2 most festive casters here in the LPL.
When they brought us this, I was like, you know what? Can I take this home with me?
Yeah, it's so comfortable, too.
Yes.
And not having to get in a suit and tie and just looking pretty and feeling festive.
It's cold in Shanghai, too, so the fact that this was like the fabric and everything, I could talk about it for a long time, but obviously we have a lot to talk about.
We could just have a whole segment about it, but we're not going to, because there's this whole thing called the LPL that you may or may not know about. Yesterday we had some really great matches, and there's been a bit of a change in the standings because of them, one that we didn't expect we'd see just this early.
IG got taken down by a team not named RNG.
Boom!
That's insane. JDG came in big. Remember, the start of the season, they didn't have Clip. Batman escaped, went towards SKT. Whereas Loken, TOP. But the members came in hot. It actually finished off with B-Boy getting man of the match. Insane performance of them, being able to take down Invictus Gaming in a 3-game series. Please go back and watch it if you can.
And not only that, but they played pretty much their entire roster. Imp got a time to shine.
Yeah.
Voy got a time to shine. Levi, our hot upstart coming in from Vietnam, and NA showing himself. He's got a little trick, few tricks up his sleeve. So we saw the entire roster. They actually got a win off of it. So JDG looking like the team that we wanted them to be coming into the season here, but they weren't really showing it.
Yeah, I felt like the most impressive aspect of it is what we got to see the Dumpling brothers really come in hot. I know a lot of people have been coming into the season saying, can you gotta make it right, you know? Has a lot of members that he has to essentially lead. Can he perform under all of that pressure? Hell yes, he does. In fact, brings in Zoom with his Swain pick. I thought that was the most impressive Swain I've seen in some time. Obviously, we haven't seen it in 2019 until he picked that one. But even in 2018, I felt like the fact he was able to come out, go up against the Shy, the best roster we've seen from IG, not putting down Duke. So we're seeing the Shy throughout the entire series, and it still wasn't enough for Invictus Gaming.
Unfortunately, they did fall. Luckily for JDG, they got it. So that's how last night went. And again, you really should be checking that one out. It was awesome. But we have a few, it's like MVPs, but cooler. We have the best of the Rift coming up today. We had the announcements come out. You'll notice there's 2 Fun Plus members and 2 Sooning members.
Yeah, so just looking at what week 2 provided for us, immediately the fact that you see 2 Sooning members, try and make it 3. I'm going to say 3 because Nightlook just being sandwiched by both SMLZ and Hacker. Remember, the duo in the mid lane in 2018 spring was Knight and Hacker. Their early game was so damn fine. Just taking a look at Knight's stats. First in all metrics, KDA, goal difference at 15, damage percentage at 40% last week. 40%. He had 52% when he was playing as Zoe, and it didn't really drop at all when he was going to his Jace pick. He demolished OMG, so it is no surprise the Knight was topping the charts in all of them.
And you know, this was a great week for everyone on the board, clearly. That's why they're there.
Yes.
But I want to point out Hacker as well, because his first week in the LPL, I legitimately thought someone else had subbed in for him and was using his name tag, because he was not playing up to the standard we know he can.
Yes.
This week, he proved me wrong. He's like, no, it's me. I promise I'm back.
And on top of that, even just to round up the list, because Gimgoon was playing fine, Hacker and Knight, we've already spoke highly of them alongside Chris, because the 2 FPX members having us still undefeated so far in the split. SMLZ, this is the second showing for him. So out of 2 best of the Rifts, this is the second one he's able to attain. He is starting the split running. Remember last year he was the most consistent AD carry that wasn't named Uzi, because Uzi wasn't playing the entirety of the season. So for him to come in now, started off in week 1 and week 2 on fire, there's a reason why Sooning are now performing incredibly well. It's not just because of the early game Hackers providing for them, but also the late game team fighting that we get to see off of SMLZ's Lucian.
Yeah, those are really the two teams to beat right now for the LPL. If you're a team looking to prove yourself, looking to prove that you can really have what it takes, got to take down FPX, got to take down Suning, and got to take down IG. JDG's already got that one in the bag.
Yeah, already looking good.
They might be able to do the other two, hit the trifecta going forward, but we've got two entirely different matchups coming up today. The first one, of course, is going to be SDG versus Vici, followed by OMG versus V5.
And I know we're getting a lot of great, amazing top laners in the league. And for us to watch OMG and V5 at the end, this is going to be done in Chengdu in the OMG venue. Ale versus Jinu. That one is going to be incredible. Stay on. Watch it until tonight. We'll have the full series played out. Of course, as you already mentioned, our first series is going to be SDG and Vici.
And SDG, of course, 2-1, as I mentioned. Vici 0-2, having a little bit of a trouble time. But, you know, to be fair, Vici were going up against two of the best teams in the league. So EDG, that's a hard roster.
Yes.
So this is going to be their third matchup, and they're looking forward to it, I think.
Suning and EDG, like the fact that they're going into the series, remember, not only going up against tough teams, but with an entirely new roster. A new roster that is filled up with just developmental players. And just going into the series, this is when I'm sorry if I'm going to do this for you guys. It's story time with Raz. Yes.
I came prepared.
All right. Oh, my God. All right. Well, guess what? For you people at home, just buckle down. Because it is Vici Gaming versus SinoDragon. Isn't it the first time these organizations have faced off? In the LDL regular season, SinoDragon were, you know, hot on fire. They were the favorite team to go into the LPL, and then they go into playoff time. Vici Gaming took them down to the losers bracket. That's their developmental team. And then the finals. Vici's dev team going up against SinoDragon. SinoDragon takes them. There's going to be a lot on the line between both of these teams just in terms of pride, because Ike's, who is now on the roster in the starting lineup, and a lot of people who are playing in that match are now in the still like in that 10-man roster that Vici Gaming's have for themselves, are going to be looking at SinoDragon, and this is going to be their chance at redemption to be able to take down Sino, because they're still on stage, sure, but they didn't get that chance to be able to, you know, find themselves an organization, keep together as a 5-man roster onto the LPL scene. It was Sino that got that trophy in the LDL, can move on, now has all the glory and fame. For me, Vici Gaming wants this victory, not only because it's going to be their first victory at the split, but also for how much it means to them with how they took that loss in the LDL.
And Vici, you know, I guess since story time's over, I don't need that.
Well,
we're gonna keep him here though. We're setting him down on his pork buns. But Vici for me is a really exciting story because, and I know you're excited to talk about this as well, but Puff and Southwind really have shown a lot of promise coming in. They've both played 5 picks over 6 games. There's a lot of variety in picks and a lot of ability coming out, especially from Southwind.
For Southwind, it wasn't just his mechanics, but also the fact that he was able to still command a team, that there was direction with the squad. And so he's a player that can come in and say, hey, I'm vying for Rookie of the Year, but the issue here is it doesn't feel like he's a rookie. He's been in the scene since 2014. He was starting his career off when he was actually on Positive Energy. When he was in the LSPL team, when Positive Energy got kicked out of the LPL, moved into the LSPL, he was the main support for the squad. And then he moved on to previous teams, Legend Dragon, Royal Club, all of this while he's in the secondary league. In fact, he had the chance to promote into the LPL when he was on Legend Dragon, but no, it was Shahu and Let Me that said, nah, you're getting back down there, buddy. It's our chance to shine. So it's funny how history works. But for this man who's been in the scene for 5 years now, finally gets the spotlight on the stage, and in his first series gets man of the match, there's a reason why he's able to do this with so much confidence, is because he's got the experience that really backs him up.
He's got the experience, and now he's finally finding the success. He's made it into the LPL. You know, that's the biggest goal there for him. But his first match, 2-0-23 MVP, like you said, 100% kill participation.
And it was up against SMLZ and SwordArt. That's the most impressive part. The fact that they went up against tough teams, Suning, EDG, against tough bottom lanes, world-class bottom lanes, you know, having to go to SwordArt, iBoy, Mako, and they're dominating lane, that says a lot. We need now are members on the other side of the map that can help him out a little bit. I think Chalitza has not been starting the year off well, and I think that Jay, although he's shown a lot of promise individually, the coordination that he can provide for the bottom side of the map is pivotal. It's important for this squad. If they're so close to being able to take these victories, always finding themselves in 3-game series up against really tough teams. And remember, this is a single round robin right now. So this is a team that you do want to take down. Because if you're getting so close to being able to take victories up against some of the teams, like, okay, sure. But like a win counts. This is your best chance against SDG that you know you have as much experience, if you're Southwind, more experience than them. This is where you come in as a lot of people, I would say, as favorites up against SDG. I think SDG have been really impressive and proving a lot of people wrong. But a lot of the players on Vici Gaming, specifically Puff, Southwind, Jay, and I would even say Ike's, should be coming in this with more individual strength to come out and proving people wrong.
And they're really going to need to, especially against SDG here, because SDG's strongest side of the map is going to be that top side. They have, well, I'll say he's a good mid laner. You know, time will tell. Twilla plays a lot of control mages. That's basically all we've seen him play, but he's played a variety of them. You know, he's picked up the Zoe. He's even picked up Lulu in the mid lane. So he's got the pick variety, the depth of champion pool, and he's got the skill to go for it. He's made some incredible plays so far. And that entire top side of the map, Xiaopeng, their big damage dealer coming out of the jungle, and Changhong in the top lane, who's, I would argue, their best laner specifically. They have a lot going for them in that area of the map. And if Vici can't square up and fix that side of the map, if Jay doesn't give the performance we've expected him to, they're going to be having a lot of problems.
Yeah. What's really impressive with this team is the fact that their coordination is not a question about them. They kept the 5 players that brought them success in the LDL, brought them into the LPL, and of course they're going to be able to team fight as well. I think their weird identity, where they're so all in on utility, tankiness, going for team fights, and really their sole damage threat when they get to that point is going to be in Gala, I thought was going to be worrying, because Gala was, you know, great. He was fine when he was in the LDL, but this is an entirely new set of competitions. Now you're going up against like ridiculous LPL bottom lanes. The teams that SinoDragons took down were teams that like WE. Like that one's a surprising one to me because Mystic is insane of a AD carry player, but they were able to get past the laning phase, which is a big surprising point, but then get into team fight and then out team fight WE. So for me, that series says a lot that they can get past that point and still rely on their strategy. The damage threat is a big point for me now because not only is Gala able to deal damage later on in the game, but their major carry option is, funny enough, Xiaopeng. So one pick that is starting to come up in the meta, and I would love to see Xiaopeng pick it back up, is the Kindred. We've seen Kindred in the LCK, seen a little bit in like lesser regions as well, coming up a little bit in the OPL, and I think in solo queue it's been coming back a little bit more with a new build in tow, a little bit more crit focused. That's something that Xiaopeng was known for, constantly having highlight plays when he was in the LDL with that option, and I think if you can bring that up, have a second carry in that lineup, SDG should be ready to go.
And they should be able to support that pick with a team composition around it. You know, everyone on SGG has a pretty deep champion pool, but Vici as well. This draft is going to be really interesting because both these teams, a lot of their members have deep champion pools. Vici so far, they've played 6 games. Every single member has played 5 different champions.
Yes. That's
a lot to choose from. That's a lot of compositions you can pull off that other teams might not just have the depth of pool to be able to do.
And remember, like, that's incredibly important for the Vici players. When I talked highly about Southwind, Puff, even their mid laner in Jay, I said that I like them as individual players when I'm comparing them to the individuals of SDG. But SGD's specialty aren't their individual players. It's the team play that's really backing them, that's able to take down Snake and WE. Now we're moving on to the players that are on the stage. Changhong, their top laner. Xiaopeng, their jungler. Twila, Gala, and Mark to round out their bottom side of the map.
Yeah, we're going to be looking a lot towards that top side, like we said. But for Vici, we have Chalitza in the top lane, Ike's in the jungle, Jay mid lane, and Puff and Southwind. Much of our focus down there in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and I love the fact that that is their new focus because previous season for Vici Gaming has been through mid lane and jungle, but even then there wasn't a real direction in the squad. Caveman, their old support, was fantastic as a engaged support player. He also took a lot from Dandy when he was on the team at the same time with him. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. It really didn't give them as much direction as you would want in the previous splits. This time around, Southwind, not only does he give you direction just based off of play, so suddenly if your bottom lane is winning your lane, well, immediate direction if you're Ike's, just go bottom lane. But also he's a very headstrong shot caller. You see in your screen right now, that's a Puff. Previously saw that was Jay, their mid laner. So you're just going down the line. I want you to remember them, because even though if they don't have a successful split, you will see these players for years to come because they're up and coming.
And especially Southwind, you know, we can't give enough praise to the bot lane because it really is a strength, like you said, Vici hasn't had before. And having a straight upgrade in a position like the bottom lane,
True,
is so strong for a team, because suddenly all your old strategies will just work better. When you have straight upgrades in positions, everything you've done before still works, but now you have a lot more freedom.
Yeah, I want to see what we get out of the bottom lane, just because pretty high on Mark and Gala as well, immediately just taking a look at the pick and ban. Galio being banged immediately is actually a pretty impressive. I know it's a must ban globally. Been seeing more play in the LPL, but if you're going up against Vici Gaming that want to be able to have that front-to-back team fight, also Jay's been having impressive performances throughout the split with it, you want to be able to take it away.
And especially for SDG, because Twila has not yet played it, so they might not be as comfortable on the pick as Vici, so banning it away gives them a little bit of extra freedom there. But hovering around the top lane for these picks, trying to get a carry here potentially for Changhong.
So two options that are 100% seen in pick bans so far has been Cassiopeia, that's been banned, and the Aatrox that's currently being hovered. Wouldn't be surprised if Aatrox picked, just because of the flexibility that you have in both mid lane, top lane, and actually in the jungle as well. So immediately picked up. Changhong was, I liked his Aatrox a little bit. Of course, it has a tough matchup against the champion that's currently being hovered. But if you can get past it, if you can honestly look to flank quite frequently with the option, then I really, really enjoy the diving potential that Aatrox gives you.
And the lane is Urgot's strength, we've seen a lot, but in the LPL recently it's not been as effective because teams are finding ways around that weakness for their top laners against Urgot or their mid laners, and it's dropped below 50% win rate. So now the Urgot might not be as effective as it was before, but the Ezreal is an especially good pick here for the bottom lane.
To your earlier point, I think it just really depends on the cohesion that squads have with Urgot. It's a little bit difficult because you do need to play towards it a little bit more. He pushes out very naturally, and you want to be able to support his shove. A lot of times you see Urgots getting ganked and killed really early on, especially in week 1 in the LPL. So I think that's just teams trying to find their footing. Ezreal, to the point that you've been making, is just such a great champion, great scaling, a lot of surprising damage with the new Estus Flux. So a lot of things to point out once you get to see him in the game. Also, I just like Puff on Ezreal in general. It works well coinciding with Braum. So I would expect Southwind to go back to his Braum pick.
SDG going to pick up that Kaisa for Gala. We know he's a hyper carry player, so this works well with his style, prevents it from being banned out later. And the Akali coming in. This is really interesting for SDG.
Yeah, new look. I mean, right now they look like they have triple threats in their squad. Hasn't been the case in the previous games. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen them having a triple threat in Aatrox top lane, I'm assuming, Kaisa, and Akali. So Twila going into an assassin option is going to be real interesting to see. Maybe that goes to Changhong, because Changhong has played the Akali in the past. So in fact, I kind of favor that, to be honest. We'll see what it goes into, because I don't think they've made their mind up as they go into the second phase.
And especially, I think, for Twila's play style, the Aatrox might work a little better. I feel it plays closer to the control mage style, but as you said, Vici going to pick up the Braum, guarantee themselves a strong bot lane, prevent SDG from being able to ban it out.
I want to see what the support pick is for SDG at this point in time. If Vici just start, banning them out. The fact that they already banned Rakan on the first phase is excellent, because then not only do you get to ban the Alistar here, but I would go towards a Tom Kench ban too. You already saw it being hovered by Mark. You know Mark will go to it so he can protect Kaisa going front to back. So taking that away and forcing him to a much squishier option is positive.
But now the question is what SDG does with their remaining bans. Of course, top lane / mid locked in as the bottom lane. They want to take the Zoe off. We've seen it be very successful recently and do so much damage, keep so much pressure in the lane with that constant threat of assassination and the constant push potential.
It's that shock factor, honestly. And you see the Zoe option gets an open mid lane. Like if one gank goes wrong, mid lane tower gets taken down. Vision starts to, it's actually so much harder to actually reclaim Vision on the map because of the threat of the Sleepy Trouble Bubble finding you. So it's a snowball factor in the lane. Speaking of snowballs, the fact that SDG are just taking 2 of those options away from Jay is telling.
Want to keep him down, keep him somewhere where Twilla can control him. Don't let them get the control over the mid lane, but this Ryze pick going over, if it's locked in, gives them a little bit of gank potential and map pressure.
Very smart from Vici. I'd just say lock it in, because both Urgot and the Ryze, no matter where you put them, have a positive lane versus the Akali and Aatrox. So there's no wrong answer. As long as Jay and Chalitzi are comfortable playing the Ryze, then you win. We saw Jinu playing Ryze top lane a little bit earlier on in the split, so it's being played competitively in the LPL.
Now the Morgana going to be hovered here from SDG. This will give them decent disengage and potential to keep Gala safe, which is going to be a big priority coming in. But they have a triple threat comp.
So that was my worry initially. You start taking away Tahm Kench, Alistar, even Rakan to a certain degree, your options get slimmer and slimmer. Morgana I'm happy about because, yeah, you want to be able to allow Kai'Sa to move in along with Akali, but now they're just a squishier composition. If you're Vici, that's a big win. You have Braum to protect the front line. You can play a lot slower in these team fights knowing that SDG, who is not a team that plays tank junglers, will get squashed in longer fights. So SDG have to make it fast, have to be on the ball in this series.
Looking for the short fights, and Vici gets to play it out safe. So we'll see if they want to keep going for that theme, or looks like they're going all in on the globals potentially with the Nocturne hover.
Shutting you out. If this is the lock, I really like it just because if you can just close the lights. So for Lee Sin, who wants to find those kick engages, then guess what? I just want to see if it gets locked in because I don't want to get baited. You have 3 seconds. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. So you can control fights before it even begins. And also on top of that, they have great play in larger areas like around dragons and barons, around neutral objectives. I really favor Vici's composition. Just want to see where the Ryze goes, because if he goes top lane, see him on Spellbook, wants to get a little bit more of a shove before he gets placed. I like Ryze into the Aatrox match especially. If you put him versus Akali, there's more room to play around, more of a mistake area. So like for instance, if you're shoving up top lane, you're at her tower, then it's pretty easy to gank the Ryze at that instance. But if you keep him up against Aatrox, it's actually very easy to keep him in place. At worst, you have to blow flash. Those are specifics about the matchup, but in general, I like just being able to keep Aatrox down with the Ryze option.
And it looks like that will be the lane matchups going in, as they have been locked in. But now it's about the rest of the map and what Lee Sin can get done. Xiaopeng is going to have a lot easier time with early ganks compared to the Nocturne. You have a lot more playmaking potential at 6 for picks, especially. They're about even, but Lee Sin with the kick, if Xiaopeng can play it well, can put so much pressure out across the map. He can pick a lane and just get a kill.
Yeah, I wonder how he does it, because we've seen him already play quite a few Lee Sin games in the split. Just counting it up, 3 Lee Sin options. So he's picked Lee Sin 3 times, and he's done more of a farming path, so he gets to 6 much faster, so he can look for those engages whenever they're looking around dragon fights, and he has the kick a lot more earlier up. Also looks towards bottom lane. Good option to do that. I like that, just so he can try and put some pressure on Puff and Southwind. So that's what I would foresee coming out of the Lee Sin here for Xiaopeng. He's played it a lot this split, so talking about the fact that he plays a lot more carry junglers. So far in this play, he's done Nocturne, Lee Sin, and Nidalee.
That's it.
Having the CC with the Lee Sin hop kick, incredibly crucial to get you going. Allows Chang Hong to really just go all in. I really want to see what we get out of SDG as they focus on in this bottom lane.
Both teams probably going to prioritize this bottom lane heavily as we get here into Game 1 of Week 3, Day 1 between SDG and Vici. Cheers a little bit less organized than usual, Raz, but we're hearing a lot of support for Vici.
Yeah, Vici fans came in hot, and the fact that they were just waiting for their turn, it's like, all right, you guys gonna wrap that up just yet? Yeah. I mean, we have more numbers. At least there's nice. That's the big factor, man. I remember last year the Rogue Warriors fans sometimes just dip into the other team's chant. You're like, wait a second, you're not on stage. You don't have to be competitive with them, but they tried anyway.
Both junglers going to be taking the red side start here. An entirely leashless start from Xiaopeng.
Yeah, Lee Sin's can do this, and it gets your bottom lane in a good position. If Mark started out with his W, then it means that he can actually get a good shove in lane. Both AD carries starting with teleport is important, because Kaisa knowing very well he's going up against an Ezreal means that he's not going to go for the combat summoners. Wait a minute, Ike's recognizing. He's got a Lee Sin on top of his head.
This is really aggressive from Xiaopeng. He's just saving the Q, waiting for the flash over. He's just going to take the blue buff, doesn't want to go for the combat. He's calling up Mark to help.
There we go. I mean, Xiaopeng immediately being on top of the Nocturne. Early levels, Nocturne is not going to be able to fight you. Especially if I think he actually ranked up his W. Oh no, he's not going to be able to take this one either.
Oh, this is...
Oh, thank the Lord.
He smites it away. Ike's is going to be okay for now, but Xiaopeng incredibly aggressive here in the early game, just putting so much pressure onto Ike.
What you should be expecting from this point forward is junglers taking their place. Lee Sin has a firm control of bottom side of the map. Unless if he cuts through mid and tries to now take control of the enemy scuttle, he is. He just wants to fight. That's actually hilarious. I thought that Xiaopeng was going to be like, all right, I own this side of the jungle, and I'm going to allow Gala to push it up, and you can control top side because, you know, my top laner just has pressure, and he has Shroud. So he should always be safe. That's not the case. I just want to be able to see what Lee Sin's next path, because if he takes Raptors and goes topside, then you should expect them to actually meet towards the Scuttle Crab. Or, other option, he just goes back towards the Krugs and then tries to just go back for boots and a longsword start. But no, he's going to be actually just going straight towards the Scuttle Crab.
Just going to get as much control as he can over that side of the map. And it looks like if you check the mini-map, Gala and Mark might actually be on the other Scuttle Crab, securing the triple buff double scuttle for Xiaopeng.
Makes me sad every single time a jungler just gets hard denied like that. So for Ike's, he's accepted it, honestly. He's probably already understood that Mark and Gala left the lane to go and get it. That's information Puff and Southwind would provide to him. I just don't know what he does here now, because he's going to go bot side, take Gromp, I guess. And then his next option is to either go hard and look for a gank bottom lane. I think that's his only real option. So I think if you're Southwind and Puff, allow the bottom lane to get shoved in and just look for a flash Q if you're Braum. You just have to make it as fast as possible, because Mark is going to be looking for a Black Shield.
Puff low on mana though, so that gank looking worse by the second, and if it doesn't go well for Ike, suddenly Xiaopeng is in the best position he could have. He gets to pick a lane. He can even go bot and pressure Southwind and Puff, which we said he might want to do. He's just got freedom.
On your mini-map, if you didn't see it, it was Morgana immediately catching him out, getting the ward down, so they knew that Nocturne was coming in. His options are now super limited. He's not going to be able to go towards bottom lane at all. So that was just a great timing from Mark to be able to catch out the jungler's path.
Now, Xiaopeng has gone back, picked up the Skirmisher Saber and the Longsword. He might be looking to fight. In the meantime, Changhong just going to keep shoving into the top lane, into this Urgot. Doing pretty well in the lane early on.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, you just have 3 lanes that are pushing in favor of SDG. A lot of times, you're a coaching staff, Coach Long in this instance, you wouldn't want yourself being limited this highly and trying to focus this much on team fights. Because if you're just looking about team fights, Vici's games comp looks great. But getting to that point is super hard if Lee Sin can take all of this these options. He's immediately going towards Dragon, so he has Dragon now. Incredibly early one means that you can stack it up to the next one. You might have a 5-Dragon game. It speeds the game up to a point where Vici might have to be forced into a team fight before they're ready. You already see double tiers being picked up. If a team fight gets forced before either of these tiers are fully stacked, then it's going to be in SDG's favor.
Good read and good early game pathing here from Xiaopeng will allow them the freedom to control the game. And now Gala and Mark coming back into lane. A little bit of harass for it, but Twilla might get some damage here onto Jay, forces the flash.
He would have had to have based if he didn't flash there. So that's for him to stay on the map. He probably wouldn't have died. Remember that Ignite 2 on Twyla probably had his passive auto attack on as well. So he was really worried that worst case scenario he dies, of course, or just like standard case he has to base without his teleport. And he's just going to have to lose that much in CS. He's already in a really bad situation in the CS department, so he doesn't want to get into a worse position.
Changhong being very careful in that top lane, avoiding the gank, and Ike's still not level 6. He's having trouble keeping up with the enemy jungler. Xiaopeng, of course, not 6 either, but he's picked up a dragon instead, so I feel like we can give him a pass on that one.
Yeah, I mean, it's very clear what he's going to be doing. He's going to get Raptors, red, probably look for a lane gank bottom lane. This just there's just a lot of options here for SDG at this point in time. I think looking towards the next dragon is a pretty smart option. Rift Trail doesn't come up until 10, so at this point there is a chance that Xiaopeng looks for an early gank on mid lane. The only issue here is that with how often it's being pushed under tower and Ryze playing that safely, you're almost committing to a dive. But if you're Lee Sin, if you have Warthog kick available, then you should be able to go for it.
Even if the gank doesn't come through, that's a 30 CS lead onto Twyla there. That ward will spot Xiaopeng if he decides to go for it, but he might be looking for the blue buff again. Ike's has a control ward on it, so everyone knows this is happening.
Yeah, the danger here is that Gala and Mark are not pushed up just yet, so that's just going to have to be Lee Sin calling for his lanes to push up as much as possible so he can do this.
Ike's just going to take the Gromp, looking for 6. He's found it. So now this is starting to get dangerous for Xiaopeng. He doesn't have anyone with him just yet.
Aatrox's coming in at a flank, but he's given enough time that Ryze can join. That's my worry. Look, take a look at it.
They might be looking for the pick onto Ryze if Jay decides to follow, but they are so aggressively going for this blue buff. It might be their undoing.
Now it's the escape option.
Ike's goes in with the paranoia, and now the ult is out. The world ender from Twyla. How much can he get with it? Chasing down Puff, who's going to have to flash over the wall. Gets out alive, but not for much longer. First blood, second kill. Double over to Twyla.
And Kaisa having level 6 too, just in case he didn't get the job done, just following up. But that was so well done from Twyla.
I was so scared that they were going to over-aggress there and get punished for it, because with newer teams, you see this a lot. They have an idea, they're not sure how they're going to execute, they go for it and get caught and punished. But SDG, knowing exactly their limits, exactly what needed to happen to make that work.
And the finer details are important here, because Changhong had to make sure that Chaliza didn't have teleport. He did. He had Ignite because he was going into... Oh, wait a minute. He falls because of it. Sad days. It's funny because Changhong was the core member, crucial member that told his team that Urgot's not going to be a part of it. He has Ignite. It's fine. Even though I don't have teleport, they don't have a teleport advantage. He recognized that, but he still gets caught out anyway. It's just a brain fart moment. It's unfortunate, but I'll still give him the, the credit, just because SDG got a great fight in a 4v4 situation.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it holistically across the map. It's 2 for 1, you steal a blue buff. That's a pretty decent trade, and Changhong was doing well into this lane anyways. Ike's continuing to farm. Xiaopeng looking for his next move. Herald has not spawned yet. Next dragon going to be up in just a minute.
You already expect that to be an important one. Take a look at what Galah's doing. So he's getting a slow for him to just hold on to it. It's important because while Vision is getting picked up by Vici Gaming, it's sad that the Scuttle Crab spawned in the bot side of the map. Had it not, then you would have expected to just, Ezreal and Braum to be under tower, not this huge wave. And then it would have been Xiaopeng and his adjacent laners that would be picking up Vision in the area. So I still think it's an option. You just might see Vici Gaming be in a pretty good position to contest that next dragon.
Instead, SDG saying, okay, you want the Vision on the dragon? Fine, we'll take Herald.
So take a look at it. It's just a mistake. It's a great all-in that Chaliza had. He didn't have much mana, but just enough to be able to take the victory. So there was, it's a visual bug. He still had his W up. The Shroud was available. But the moment he gets out of it, he's just going to be picked up by Urgot. Urgot does pretty well in the matchup for that reason.
Now Changhong finding himself behind about 12 CS. Not insurmountable, and they picked up a Rift Herald on top of it. So SDG doing a lot on the objective focus. Now Xiaopeng looking towards mid.
It's going to be important. Right now, Ike's has to be on the ball to figure out where Lee Sin is going to be heading. It's usually easiest to place him on side lanes if you want to just outright get the tower. Placing around mid lane is really difficult because you'd have no idea if you know, Southwind, if your bottom lane is going to be there to defend, it's usually hard to just take down the tower down outright. But side lane's easier. But if you're mid lane, it's a bigger payoff just to be able to have sole control of the mid lane shove. But we'll have to see what he ends up going for.
Again, a lot of times these can be used for establishing early leads with the turret plating, but just 3 minutes left, so they are on a timer. Changhong once again getting 1v1 here by Chalitza.
Oh no, he's ghosting in.
Ghost is popped. Changhong has flash available, so he'll be just fine, but really low under tower. Needs to be careful.
Yeah, one more Q, and honestly, he's an ultimate rage. So Changhong has to relax here. He still has his flash, so worst case scenario, he can get out.
This is nice from SDG. They had a huge wave set up ahead of time. Visual bug again, but they're getting gold onto Twila, onto Xiaopeng, and they might even take down the tower.
It's a lot of gold in the pockets of Twilight just because they're able to take down 4 of the 5 turrets plating. So pretty insane payoff. No mana on Jay. So this is worst case scenario for Vici Gaming. They don't have jungler there. He's not going to help. That's really unfortunate. Southwind is not helping either, so he didn't rotate. And on top of that, Jay, who was the only member available for it, did not have mana. That is as worse as you could have played it, and for that reason, SDG actually picks it up.
And this was supposed to be the hardest lane for them to drop Herald in successfully, but they timed it absolutely perfectly. Full wave, Jay out of mana. They nailed it.
Look. I'm kind of sad because even though they did time it well, any team can defend that. I don't give a damn. Just pull Ike's into the lane, pull Southwind, that's all you need. Ezreal can stay in lane fine. He has teleport too. I'm not worried about Gala and Mark actually converging on Puff. So I think that was just Vici Gaming playing absolutely terribly, and they lose a mid lane tower for it.
All right, I'll run that point back then.
All right, give it to me.
Because they were playing against Vici, that was an absolutely perfect play around the mid lane with Herald.
All right, yeah.
I think that one. I think that works better. Right.
But so far, so good from SDG right now. I mean, you already see Southwind coming in. I don't know. I don't know why he's here now, because now my concern is that Twilight's gonna actually push this lane in and look for a bottom lane tower take. So he's rolling around the jungle now, but good lord, goodbye.
Bye, Changhong. He's getting kind of abused up here, twice in a row, getting caught out, not expecting the damage from Chalitza.
I think that's still a good payoff. I mean, even though you die here, take a look at what SDG is going to get off the back of this.
Oh, what a binding there. Goodbye. Oh. He has the flash. He didn't calculate the damage correctly. He still takes him out. Realm Warp not able to save him.
That was a sick follow-up, though. I mean, when I saw Snake playing out that Lee Sin, and SOFM was just hard styling off that pick, I was like, I don't know if anyone can do it. That's it for me. But then immediately the day after, you get to see Xiaopeng showcase some style as well. So being able to pick off Puff when he was able to flash over the wall is a nice plus for me. The reason why I said that I still take those with Changhong getting picked up top lane is you have vision now where Ike's is. You know Ike's in the top side of the map. So not only do you take tower, they also got a kill, so that's a big bonus. But you got the dragon that you've been searching for quite some time. So that's now a second dragon stacked up for SinoDragon. Big plus for them. Yeah,
they've sacrificed their top lane in everything but name at the moment, but they've gotten so much for it. They've gotten the Herald, mid tower, bot tower, second dragon. They're doing so much with the deficit in the top lane that it's not going to matter that much. And once it gets to the later stages, that Akali's still going to be a threat.
So 3K gold lead, good portion of it is on Twila. You got into a point where you have a great 1-3-1 composition. Twila might not have a teleport, but if I'm him, I just go on side lane and challenge Jay to fight me, because he has so much outright gold. He's pretty damn close towards his Black Cleaver. The combat stats right now on top of Sino are insurmountably ahead of the Vici Gaming power drop that they're in, where they have to work towards their double tier stack. So right now, Vici are going to have to really work hard to push back Sino.
Neither tier up, like you said, but the items coming out for SDG are pretty significant. Kaisa on her way to her second item, already got the Storm Razor. Black Cleaver coming in on both jungle and mid, so they have their item breakpoints, and now they need to capitalize on it. They're going so far, they're just splitting the bot lane to the top and sending Changhong bot, letting him keep farming up for his items, because he hasn't yet completed one.
Now, I like the fact that the item that you're probably talking about with Changhong is going to be the Zhonya's Hourglass. Zhonya's makes it so he can actually just be the playmaker. I want to see if he can actually look towards the bottom. I think he's just going to actually hold on. Oh no, is he just getting jumped on again?
I think he might just be dying again here, Raz. He doesn't have much of an escape. He has flash still available. He just needs to flash the ultimate, but he uses his own to escape before flash is even necessary.
Okay. He's having a rough time here. He's going to have to play this one slower. In fact, probably just join his team a little bit more often. So that's what I'm going to be expecting here. He might lose tower for all the great plays right now that Chalitza is making. But almost has Gunblade. Getting close to it. Once he gets stopwatch, then he can join his team and look to actually force Vici Gaming to join him. Oh no, they just get tower off this because Ike's is here.
Yeah. Tower traded in the top lane though, and looks like Jay, Twilla finally getting that engage you were talking about. Oh, flash away. Here comes Realm War, but the Ignite isn't enough damage.
Come on!
There it is. Twilla getting his third kill. 3-0-0, 182 CS. He is massive.
This is when everything just goes wrong. Right now, mid lane is the most crucial part of the map that Vici Game is losing. Twila is just staying here, trying to abuse Jay as much as possible. Other teams would probably look to try and use Twila, head him up towards the top lane, but if you keep getting kills like this, why not? 3-0 right now for the Aatrox.
They're giving him over so much. It's like what's happening in the top lane to SDG, except Vici aren't getting anything off this. They're losing their mid, but they're not getting trade plays around the map. Their only saving grace right now is the fact that Chalitza can take Changhong in a 1v1.
Yeah, that's an issue for me right now. It's good that Vici Gaming are still making trades, but there has to be an ultimate goal to it. I think if Vici look for a mid lane play, I know Aatrox has actually been poking his head out pretty frequently. Funny enough, he's been doing it alone. If you look at the minimap, he's actually just, more often than not, just kind of pushing out and seeing if he can pick off Rise. That's actually, you can make a play off that. So right now, what I would want from Vici Gaming, Ike's, Southwind, look for a play on top of Aatrox. He has his ultimate, but at least that puts you in a good teamfight position if SDG as a squad can form up and look for it. So that's what I'm talking about. We'll have to see if they can make the play happen.
Luckily for SDG, if they need to keep making their own plays happen, yes. But the position they've been put in because of their good early game, because of the early pathing from Xiaopeng, is that they have significantly more items. You were saying that they need to get the quick fights to get the win here.
Oh, no.
It looks like Twilla might be looking for the quickest fight of all, an assassination onto Puff. Whiffs the second Q, but just going to run all the way through tower.
It's fine. He even has ultimate worst case. But at this point in time, this looks like such an easy 18 minutes for SDG. A lot of it still does come back to drafting. Because if you're going to be going towards Ezreal and Rise, what I would love to see you do a little bit more, at least have a stronger jungle in the matchup. Prioritize your jungle matchup. I know they had last pick for it and they gave him the Nocturne. Go for something like Kindred. I would say even go toward the Grave, something that does well into the Lee Sin pick. So then you give yourself ganking options bot side map or pushing options towards Chalitza, who's your one winning lane. They didn't go for that. So well, you have now Nocturne getting pushed back for the first 15 minutes while your dual lane and your mid lane is just getting bullied.
Now, SDG looking to push their advantage here in the blue side. Control Word will spot out Mark, but the rest of them staying hidden still. Xiaopeng not going to be able to find the Q, but Gala might have the engage. There goes Southwind. A free pickoff in the jungle of Vici for SDG.
Yeah, I mean, Southwind is not even going to blow flash here because then that just set him up for the next play. SDG has so much control here, just constantly looking to see if the entirety of Vici Gaming get pulled into it. Thankfully, Vici is not just all-inning on these fights, but it's just gold being poured in slowly into SDG's pockets.
And it's a significant amount, too. Granted, 4K at 19. We saw a much bigger gold lead in our last series with TOP, but considering how little SDG has had to sacrifice and how well they've been leading Vici around the map, this is a good lead, and a lot of it's in objectives. It's in intangibles, not just gold.
I mean, if you're holding the TOP series to, like, the standard, we've got a problem. I mean, ain't nobody reaching that standard that TOP had versus OMG. 4K is a lot, and they're getting to that 5 dragon mark. 3 dragons already there for Sino, and Vici Gaming have to force onto the next one. That's going to be a second Infernal Dragon for SDG. I'm incredibly concerned for Vici Gaming if they are not confident enough to stand up for this next fight.
And they haven't even been able to shut down Gala, who wasn't even originally going to be the win condition that they needed, the only one, but now he's got his 2 items pretty much uncontested, even has a CS lead. These lanes have gone so amazingly for SDG. I feel like the easiest way they lose this one is if they loosen their grip on the game and stop making plays.
Yeah, at this point, I'd say like something like Baron Steel. I know 20 minutes in, it is an option here. Something that SGD wouldn't want to play around, because the earlier concern that I had was that they don't really have tanky members here. So if they try and play a longer Baron game, they're just going to eat a lot of damage from it. We'll have to see if that's something they look towards. I think they should just focus on the lanes. Move away from the big neutral objective. Try and push out as much as possible. You've been getting picks pretty easily. A few more. I don't think Vici's learning the lesson. So you can already see that's the option here for SD.
Normally when you have a strategy that works, you expect the enemy to learn against it. You have to switch it up. But for SDG right now, like you said, they can just keep going for these picks. Vici don't seem to have adapted very much to them or very effectively. Willa keeps getting those solos onto Jay. But now they want to be proactive. They want to look towards the Baron.
This is their best chance. Here we go. They have vision on it. In fact, chunking Gala. So at this point in time, you want to be able to take this fight. A lot of damage on Gala. Unfortunately, there's a damn plant in there. Who put that plant there?
Oh, maybe looking for the engage. Twilla not going to be able to find it. Good flash out. Keep the members of Vici safe. So SDG not getting a whole lot off that, but not sacrificing much either.
Yeah, they pushed them off and it extended the game. They have double blue trinket too, so that's a big win. The fact that they can try and play as slow as possible right now. Don't rear your head out. Oh no!
They catch Chalitza and everyone's going in for the fight. Jay and Puff getting so low from just one Q of Twilla, but he gets taken into his ultimate. The knockback, here comes Nocturne. Ice flashes out immediately. And no kills going in just yet, but Gala once more! Not able to find anything onto Jay or Puff, but they're so low.
Here comes a wave. They can look for this tower, but they see a big, juicier objective in mind. I'm surprised they're just going straight for the Baron buff. Xiaopeng is taking quite a bit of a hit. I think Vici should be able to, teleport coming in. They're going to contest this.
They don't want this fight to last much longer. The Baron going to do so much damage to them. They're getting incredibly low, just 1,500 health, and they are able to secure it. So now Vici need to back out so they don't get assassinated. But SDG are quite happy to give them that one.
Just so unfortunate that Ike's took that much damage going in. You know, the ultimate in, flash immediately out, the MLXG special when he realizes my team ain't ready for this. I may be, but I can't be going into 5 members alone. That was just great from SDG though. Being able to take the fight mid, may not be able to get any kills off it, but who cares if you can get the big purple worm right after it.
Normally the problem teams have with making plays like that is the play fails. They're like, okay, it failed, let's reset. But SDG is saying it failed, but we get something off that. What is that? We get time. Let's go for the Baron. Let's keep pushing the advantage, and this is something, especially recently, we've seen a lot of teams fail to do.
I would say 2018, 2017, 2 teams that come to mind. Beauty and Suning back in those days as Jay gets lit up. Goodbye.
See ya. 666 crit is pretty cool.
Back to Raz's story time would be that they have great early games, but they couldn't nail it down by playing around Baron because they were too risk averse. They didn't want to actually just go for it because they think that, hey, you know what? If they steal it, then everything goes to hell. And that may be true, but you should be trusting in the conditioning that you had up until that point, and also trusting that the fact that you should be able to turn immediately afterwards. SDG have already proven to us, the world, that they can actually do that anyway. So able to rush it immediately. If Vici Gaming were even anywhere closer, Chang Hong would have just lit them up. So immediately, I wanted Vici Gaming to contest. Where are you throwing that? Where is that going?
I don't even think Puff knows.
What happened? Where are you hurt, sir?
SDG got an inhibitor turret. That's what happened. They're looking for the inhibitor now. And Twilla putting out a lot of damage. There goes the World Ender. Paranoia has been popped. They're going all onto Twilla, but they picked up the inhibitor in the meantime. And he's still alive after his ultimate.
Yeah, creating space. And on top of that, oh no. Oh no, they go right
SDG
back.
still won it. I don't know about this, guys. We've been making some good decisions. Don't ruin them.
Space creation. Yeah, this mid lane tower is also being taken. Right now, Vici are hurt. They kind of needed that Ezreal ultimate to keep some of the members on SDG slow. Let's go for it. They have to put the line down somewhere. Let's go.
Ezreal ult pokes down Twilla, but no engage to follow up, and SDG walk away happy. 2 inhibs to their name.
Now the sad part of all of this is Puff is low, you know, people ain't ready to take the dragon. I'm sad we're going into a replay because the next one's going to be in a double infernal. But just to talk about this, Jay's dead. I mean, that was just another amazing look from Twilla. It's been a fantastic performance. 5 kills already, 25 minutes into the game.
Being incredibly effective on this Aatrox. I honestly wasn't expecting it, but he knows exactly where to go in, how to get those engages, and it's showing And Jay's looking relatively inexperienced in the matchup.
It speaks to more so the discipline of the team. SDG had such great control around mid lane. Vici Gaming coming into this, while they are all fine players, I said this coming into today, good players, can you work as a unit? Now, if you're coming in with double tier, losing jungle matchup, there have been some great teams who've done this in the past. WE in 2017 had done this, where you just have a lot of losing lanes, but you wait until the 25, 30-minute mark, and then you start being able to, come out of your shell. Issue here is Vici Gaming don't have nearly as much coordination to do that, so they just outright lose a mid lane turret and a lot of lives because Twilight is just pushing out. Here's their chance.
Here's the engage onto the mid lane. They have the man advantage, but Ike's almost taken out.
Wow.
The GA's popped. Jay looking bad. He's dead too. Ike's finally comes out of the GA into the loving arms of Gala, who takes him out, and they're still diving down. Pup goes down. The double, the triple kill for Gala, and it's the ace.
Yeah, and you know what? That's game. What the hell? 26 minutes, and it was just a clinic that SDG put them through.
We haven't seen a dominating performance quite like this from SDG before. They usually struggle a little bit. They have a little bit of falling apart, but this game, like you said, clinical, precise. They knew exactly what they wanted and how to get it.
Remember the first two series that they started the year on, Suning and EDG, right? Like that's a tough sell for me if you're SDG. Now I said Suning, that was when they were in the Demacia Cup. So for them coming into the year, hard matches starts to get easier for them. WE, Snake, they're getting their sailors kind of, they're starting to get a little more comfortable right now in the field. This is the exception to all of those previous games, and this is as comfortable as I've ever seen SinoDragons on the LPL stage. Congratulations, they put Vici through a lot here today.
And you can see it on the gold curve. I mean, there's nothing surprising there. It was just a consistent increase. They just kept going for plays, kept knowing how to maneuver the pressure. And Changhong, I have to give him credit because normally this isn't the kind of performance we expect from him. This is not the kind of strategy we expect Sino to go for.
Yep.
We talk a lot about he's their strongest laner. He's their rock in the top lane. This time they said, okay, we're going to need you to sink a little bit. Just a bit. But we're going to get everything around the map. Can you do that? And Changhong's like, wait, I don't have to carry? I don't have to? Yeah, dude, fine, I'll die, whatever.
Look, the dying part is the issue. So I'm just going to talk about a very basic principle of drafting and what we saw in this game. There is a weak side. Changhong was the weak side, right? He played it poorly per se, so like in the individual matchup, you should not die. I think he's going to come out of that game recognizing that fact. But you're right, they got a lot on the rest of the map, and that's more often, I would say that was an issue with Vici Gaming's draft. I talked about it a little bit, just the fact that they had every weak side, like their entire bottom side is the weak side, that's fine. You have mid lane and bottom lane just scaling and looking to, I would say specifically bottom lane with scaling and just taking it some time. But also if you have Rise and Nocturne, you're going to recognize that the 2v2 is not going to be in your favor. Because I said that I like the Rise into the matchup, but if you're now having Lee Sin into the Nocturne pick, you're going to have to be playing slower, a little bit smarter around Nocturne. I thought the first 5 minutes of the game dismantled Nocturne. He also, like, just in terms of the drafting, I already talked about, I would have much rather seen like Graves, Kindred, Xin Zhao perhaps, like something where you can give your jungler a leg to stand on and play through mid. We didn't get to see that, and so what we saw was Ice getting thrown apart.
Yeah, Vici definitely suffering in the draft there. Hopefully they can fix it going into game number 2, so SinoDragon might not get the 2-0. Back in a bit.